All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to go through Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. Today was an unusual day, so we talk about Bitcoin and the miners all the time on this channel. If that's content that you are interested in and you have not subscribed yet, please do us a favor and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could smash the like button, it helps out the channel a lot, and you will see a link in our pinned comment to our free Discord. So we mostly talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners on the Discord as well, and we get to talk about a lot of stuff there that I don't get to talk about here. Okay, today's update is going to be a little different. I'm going to take a little more of a topside approach because some unusual stuff happened today, and Bitcoin really is not trading on its fundamentals. It's not trading on its technicals. It's just trading on a couple of events that happened today. I'm going to go through what those are, and then we'll look at the charts and talk a little bit. The first thing is today was a very bad day in the market in general. So the S&P 500, the Dow, and the NASDAQ all hit their 52-week lows today. The Russell was just a few points off of its 52-week low. They were all down drastically. So if you look, you'll see the S&P was down 3.88%, which is a huge move for the S&P. The Dow was down 2.79. The NASDAQ was down 4.68, which is gigantic. And the Russell was down 4.76. So this was across the board a very tough day. Well, it was no different in cryptocurrency. Actually, it was different. It was worse. And that is because there was a situation going on with one of the crypto exchanges, Celsius. So they are having a very big problem. If you want to know more about that, I did do a video this morning, so if you click right up here, you'll see that video and you can get a deep dive on what exactly happened with Celsius. But essentially, that had gigantic ripple effects throughout the entire crypto world. And Bitcoin was not immune from that. And of course, the Bitcoin miners trade as a function of Bitcoin, so they were not immune from that. So I'm going to go to the Bitcoin miner big board. Okay, so on the big board, I have Bitcoin itself and 20 publicly traded Bitcoin miners. There may be some others out there. These are the 20 that I have on my watch list that I track. So if you look at Bitcoin itself, it was down 12.5% today, and it's down more than that over the last 2 days. So that is a function of the fact that Celsius kind of went sideways on Sunday afternoon. So since then, the entire cryptocurrency world has been in a nosedive. So we'll look at that on the chart in a minute. But what I want to also point out, in addition to the fact that Bitcoin is way down like that, you can see across the board, this is double-digit losses on almost every single one of these 20 stocks. So they were 20 for 20, they were all red, and 17 of these 20 stocks hit their 52-week low today. So that is a drastic day. Bitcoin's at an 18 or 20-month low. The Bitcoin miners all hit their 52-week low today. Many of them, 6 or 8 of them, hit their all-time low today. So, to sum up, today was not a great day for Bitcoin. So I'm not going to go through the miners one by one. They were all bad. I'd rather take a look at the Bitcoin chart and just talk about a few levels of support, because that's what we talked about yesterday. We had just broken out of a key level of support at 28,800, and we were waiting to see where we were going to go. And unfortunately, in between then and now, there was a massive disruption in the whole cryptocurrency world. So when we look at the chart, you're going to see where that took us. So this is the Bitcoin chart on the 1 hour time frame. This dates back to last Friday. So as of last Friday, we were holding the line at 28,800. On Saturday night and Sunday morning, we broke below that line, and you can see we started to be consistently under 28,800. It basically immediately reversed into a line of resistance. This line of support dates back a year and a half. So this was an extremely significant line of support. We talked about that a bunch on yesterday's video. If you want to learn more about that, you can check that one out. So Bitcoin was trying to find its footing and see where it was going to go. So at 2 o'clock on Sunday, Bitcoin was still hanging out at around $28,000. So still under its line of support, but still trying to find its footing. Then the Celsius situation happened, and you can see every candle from there for the next several was red candle after red candle after red candle. We had a little bit of relief. This line right here at about 25,300 was where we reached in the flash crash on May 12th. So Bitcoin caught a little bit of support for a few hours there, but even that could not hold up, and we broke right straight through that line and continued downward all the way really until about the middle of the day today. From top to bottom, you can see basically in a 12 to 14 hour window, Bitcoin was down over 20%. So that is a drastic move to the downside. So again, we had been talking about the fact that there was downward pressure. We had just lost a line of support, and we were looking to see where we were going to go. So it looks like we were drifting downward. However, with the Celsius incident, we've now drifted a little bit into no man's land. We are not really following the fundamentals. We are not really following the technicals. We just had massive downward pressure for a day. So right now we're at 23,238. That is not a natural line. line of support or resistance, you can see we took out our next line of support, and it did hold up for about 4 hours. So you could see Bitcoin, there was some buying power there. However, the fear was too big and it took that out. So it looked like we bottomed out at 22,600 today, and we have been up since then. So we don't know. It's only been a few hours since then. These are 1 hour candles. So you'll see we had a couple of nice green candles, recovery, then a little bit back down. We're a little over $600 off of our new low. So the new low for 2022 and 2021 is now $22,600. And again, since we're really not trading on the technicals or the fundamentals, it's very hard to say where we go from here, but there are a few significant lines that I think are noteworthy that we should talk about. I'm going to talk about the downside first. At this point, it's hard to say which way we're going to go. So I want to talk about the downside and the upside of what I think is a reasonable range from here. So I have kind of a pink line here at 19,894. That was the peak of the previous Bitcoin cycle. So that was 4.5 years ago. That line represents a significant line of support. Once it has crossed its peak from the previous bull cycle, it has never gone back below that number. So if Bitcoin were to go basically below 20,000, this line is very near 20,000, it would do something that it has never done in its life, which is go lower in this bull cycle than it did in the previous bull cycle. So again, that's a 4.5 year line of resistance. So if you want to know why I feel so strongly that it's a good line of support, that's why. Every trend is eventually broken. Someday we will break that, and maybe this will be the time. But until it is broken, you can consider that a very strong line of support, in my opinion. 28,800 was an 18-month line of support, and that held. We bounced off of that 10 or 15 times before we finally did break to the downside over the weekend. So now we find ourselves below 25,316, which was the flash crash on May 12th. So that was just 1 month ago. So we're about $2,000 below that, and we're about $3,000 above our next line of support. So again, we're kind of in the neutral zone here, and it's hard to tell what direction we're going to head in. So I don't want to guess. I just want to point those two lines out because I think those are the two lines we need to be looking at. Are we going to start heading up to retest 25,000? We just ran straight through that line and it never got tested at all. So we're either going to get back up and take a test at that line and either get through it, or it's going to be turned into resistance, or we're going to head downwards, and our next line of support, which in my opinion is the strongest line of support we've had yet, would be at just under $20,000. Those I think are really the only relevant lines to talk about right now. We definitely need to see how the Celsius situation plays out. We also definitely need to see how the market goes, because basically almost all the indexes hit their 52-week low today. So are we trending lower? You know, obviously Bitcoin has been tied to the NASDAQ in specific over recent months. So that will also have an impact on what's going on. As a function of that, obviously all the miners will be dependent on what direction this goes in. So for me, I did average in on a few miners today. I'm trying to average in very slowly right now because of the unusual nature of what's happening. So obviously, like I said, you know, with other events happening, we're outside of that realm right now. So I did take the opportunity with such a huge down day. I did average in somewhat, but it is not to the extent that I would ordinarily have on a day like today. So I will be being patient. And again, this is not financial advice. You guys have to decide when or if you're going to buy into these stocks, because like I said, 17 out of the 20 stocks that I follow in Bitcoin mining hit their 52-week low today. So these are all falling knives. They're all risky investments. So please be very careful in this sector. Hopefully tomorrow we will have some indication of what direction we're heading in. I'm not going to look at any of the other technical analysis because it just doesn't mean anything on a day like today. But I did not want to skip. I wanted to let you guys know. I did want to let you know some of these lines of support and resistance to be looking at. And that's my update today on Bitcoin. So thank you so much for watching. And if you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Thanks again, and we will see you in the next video.